Welcome to Gossip About Gossip, powered by Hedera Hashgraph. In each episode, we'll cut through the hype of blockchain promises and explore real-world examples of organizations creating the next generation of decentralized applications, which will bring trust back to the internet for us all.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Gossip About Gossip, the podcast where we talk about real-world applications for distributed ledger technology. My name is Zenobia Godschalk, and I'm the SVP of Communications here at Swirlds Labs, helping drive adoption of the Hedera ecosystem. Today, I am joined by Jesse Whiteside from Hashport. Hi, Jesse. How are you?
I'm great, Zenobia. How are you?
Good, thank you. For those who are not familiar with Hashport, can you give us a brief overview of what you all do and what was the impetus for starting the project?
Yeah, absolutely. Hashport is enterprise-grade public utility that facilitates the free flow of digital assets between different distributed networks. Right now, that's connecting to Hedera, Polygon, and Ethereum. The platform in and of itself allows for token transfers from both Hedera, Polygon, and Ethereum to one another. And the impetus for creating Hashport was really to be able to allow for the movement of these assets, in particular from more legacy networks such as Ethereum to more performant networks such as Hedera and other networks, like Polygon as well.
And I think for those of us who have sort of grown up in technology, we recognize that as markets evolve, it's very rare that there's just one solution, right? Interoperability is pretty key to the development, evolution, and, broad scale adoption of new technologies. So you guys have, you also have a very interesting validator model. Can you talk a little bit about that and why you decided to go with that approach?
Yeah, absolutely. And to your point about interoperability, it does mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. And, depending on what the use case is, it can mean very different things. So one of the main reasons, I guess, for this solution, again, is really what we've seen is the potential for dApps themselves to start to mobilize and potentially move from the networks that they originally found themselves on for one reason or another, be it performance issues, and moving somewhere where you can get performance benefits from migrating between networks. And to your point about the validator model, we've tried to take a page out of Hedera's book on this one, and effectively create what we feel is like a mini Hedera governing council, in the sense of having decentralized decision making for the platform, leveraging the reputation and size and industry trust that the validators that we have on the platform already have in market. So top to bottom, we have the HBAR Foundation, obviously, a multi-billion-dollar foundation that is focused on the Hedera network and growing it, which is amazing to have. Polygon network is also a validator. Galaxy, which is a decentralized social media platform that is created by Spencer Dinwiddie of the Dallas Mavericks. BCW Group, which is a multi-level strategy and consulting firm that takes part in a whole host of DLT-based solutions across the industry. Hex Trust, who is a leading digital asset custodian within Asia. WorldPay from FIS, who also happens to be a Hedera governing council member, and handles a bulk of the payments infrastructure for around the world for a whole host of different organizations. StableNode, which is the sister company of the MakerDAO and the DAI stablecoin. Animoca Brands, which is one of the industry's largest decentralized gaming companies. and LimeChain, who is one of the technical architects for Hashport and has helped us build out the platform. So between these 9 members, effectively in leveraging the Hedera consensus service, we're able to have these validating members sign transactions that arrive at Hashport to be migrated across to these other networks. And in doing so, leverage the performance benefits of Hedera and the security properties of Hedera.
All right, so now you've established sort of a framework for a trusted migration. If you are, walk me through, I'm an application that is thinking of moving from Ethereum to Hedera. How do I engage with Hashport, and what kinds of services, can I expect to utilize from you all?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a variety of ways to reach out, primarily through the site or by emailing us at support@hashport.network. And effectively, what that would look like is getting in touch with us about the idea of migrating your token across to Hedera, locking up the existing ERC20 token on the platform, and then creating an HTS version if you're moving from Ethereum to Hedera in this instance. And with the advent of smart contracts 2.0 on Hedera, along with a whole host of other exciting new features that the network has been adding over the past several months, it's really a easy process for dApps to then migrate also their smart contracts over to Hedera as well. And meanwhile, still leveraging the benefits that you get with residing on the Hedera network in terms of the speed and security and finality.
And can you give us an example of, sort of how long that migration takes if you've done that for, an application? Does it depend on, what does it depend on? The size of the application, the number of smart contracts?
Yeah, that's going to vary case to case, obviously. In terms of getting the token added to the platform, we're starting to see a lot more traction in terms of other dApps and platforms interested in making the jump. What will happen going forward, what we're trying to do is have sort of a monthly cadence with adding new assets and tokens. So, the first 2 weeks of every month are typically going to be when we're gathering all of the new tokens that are requesting to be included on Hashport. And then, going forward, the idea is to, by the end of every month, have those tokens integrated onto the platform. And then from there, obviously, dependent on how many smart contracts there are or the size and complexity of the build, that's really going to dictate how long it takes a given platform to make the jump and create those on Hedera.
And then how much of a heavy lift is it for the dApp versus how much do you take on?
Yeah, I would say, again, given that Hedera has been really good at providing, as many of the tools as possible to seamlessly allow for smart contracts just to be migrated across to Hedera from whatever network they may find themselves on in terms of Solidity smart contracts. There's going to be quite a bit of lift on the side of the dApp creator, but that's only in the sense of actually having to mobilize their assets and moving them. In terms of integrating the token, that's a fairly straightforward process for us. And again, that monthly cadence that we're going to have, so we can sort of coordinate with a dApp, any given dApp, on timing to make sure that everything's set up for them for when they're ready to deploy.
Got it. And then you mentioned the validators, but it seems like they're also sort of engaging and, having conversations in terms of further development of your offering. Can you share a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's something that's really exciting to us that we're really looking forward to. Is a lot of what has gone on behind the scenes for us over the past 10 months or so has really been building out the core functionality for Hashport. And not only that, but, going forward in the next several quarters, we have a host of new features that we're going to be adding, as well as assets that we're going to be adding to the platform, which is going to enable a lot more use cases to be leveraged on the platform. Just recently, we integrated one of our validators' tokens, Galaxy. Their HCS token is now integrated onto Hashport and can be migrated between Hedera, Polygon, and Ethereum. And moving forward, we're going to be looking to work with all of our validators on very interesting use cases that we think that the community will be really excited about.
Awesome. And as we look forward to what an integrated utopia looks like, what is next for you guys on your roadmap?
Yeah, great question. Very next thing on our roadmap, which we'll be having out shortly, is an upgraded version of Hashport, new UI, enhanced features and compatibility with mobile devices, I believe, as well as adding many of the typical assets that you would see on an interoperability portal for users to migrate to and from different networks. So we really took an approach of looking at what the traditional assets were on other interop solutions, and we're migrating across to other networks, and we're making sure that all of those good things will be available to users in short order here for them to be able to coincide with a lot of the exciting things that are happening, particularly within the Hedera ecosystem in terms of DeFi on Hedera and decentralized exchanges. There's quite a few in development right now. So we're looking forward and we're working with and collaborating with many of those platforms to make sure that all of those assets are ready for them on day one when they open their doors.
Very exciting. Rising tide lifts all boats.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
Well, Jesse, before we wrap up here, anything else that you would like to share with the audience, either in terms of things you think, gosh, I wish everybody knew this about Hashport, or things to stay tuned and look for?
Yeah, one of the things I think that is important to recognize is Hashport is the interoperability solution that allows for a connection between other EVM-based networks and Hedera. And any dApp or developer that has an interest in connecting to any of those networks, from no matter where they may find themselves right now, we'd love to hear from you and collaborate with you and help you to further your build out of your platform and what you're looking to do. One of the coolest things I think about the platform is the ability to migrate dApps between networks, but also the ability to expand a footprint into other networks and have access to other user bases. I think up until this point, the decision has really fallen to I'm going to be locked into XYZ network, and from there, that's sort of the sword I'm going to live or die by. And I think that's changing now with a lot of these interoperability solutions. And I just think that especially legacy applications or dApps that may have a really great use case, such as was the case with Dovu and the Dove token. They've been around since 2016, and the use case, while incredibly powerful, just wasn't going to be feasible on the Ethereum network. However, it will be on Hedera, and I think they've got a great staking program going on right now, and it's had quite a bit of success so far. So just in terms of, the door is always open for anyone and everyone that would like to reach out and collaborate with us.
Yeah, and I think that's a great point. Sometimes organizations, as they grow and scale and succeed, hopefully beyond their wildest dreams, realize that they need something that is more scalable, more cost effective, just in terms of more the ability to manage what your costs are going to be and know what those costs are going to be over time. So hopefully as the entire ecosystem grows, as people do become more successful with their applications and they need to run them at huge volumes, huge scale, and low cost, they will come contact you.
Absolutely. And I think, I don't think that can be understated ever, or overstated, I should say, with respect to Hedera basing their fees pegged to USD values. That's so incredibly powerful in my mind, just simply because if you're an organization that's looking to build something out, as you say, at volume and at scale, not being able to have a clear picture as to what your budget is going to be to run that use case makes it next to impossible. I would argue completely infeasible to actually operate long term. So, the fact that Hedera does that, I think, one of the few, if not the only, that's doing that. Incredibly powerful stuff among the whole host of things that the network really does well. So.
Yeah, my dad was a CFO before he retired, and thinking of going to him and asking for a budget that maybe this or maybe 10x this, 50x this, just would never fly.
No, absolutely not.
Well, Jesse, thank you so much. It's so great to see the progress that you have made to date, and we hope that you will continue to keep us posted on the developments for everything that you're doing, and as you continue to grow and encourage interoperability.
Absolutely. One of the just I'll leave on this note. One of the biggest things that we're working on throughout the coming quarters is sort of enterprise grade functionality for larger use cases to leverage Hashport, not only on the back end through various APIs as well as SDK documentation, but also having the functionality to potentially create individual channels to keep assets separated and enable use cases that may require certain regulatory compliances to be followed in order for something of that nature to be leveraged in a decentralized way. So we're really excited about that stuff. There'll be more details to come, but I just wanted to leave that little bit with everyone to part.
Yeah, I think enterprises need some of that already pre-built, right? They're less likely to sort of go in and fiddle with things, and much more likely to buy something if you can sort of deliver it to them out of the box, and in ways that they can plug it into their existing processes and streams.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you, Jesse, so much, and we look forward to hearing from you again soon.
My pleasure. Thanks for having us, and happy to be here anytime.
Thank you.